Which electric car gives you the most range for your money? Well, in this video, I have ranked all the current electric cars on sale based on how much you pay for each mile of range they give you in real world driving conditions. Now, based on my testing of electric cars, on average, they manage 86% of their manufacturer's claimed range. And so I've used this adjustment in my workings to predict each car's real world range. Just so you know, I've chosen to use this predictive value even for cars I've tested, rather than use the actual range I got from them. I've done this in order to ensure consistency in the calculations for this list. What's more, I've used the real world price of the cars instead of the list price. That takes into account the UK government's grant for plugins and any extra discounts available through carwow.co.uk. I hope all that makes sense. Anyway, I'm Matt Watson and you're watching CarWow.
Buying a new car? Then head to CarWow and my team will help you find your next car at a fair price. CarWow, your one-stop car buying comparison site.
The first car on my list is the Porsche Taycan. The Turbo S version is one of the fastest electric cars you can buy, but the 4S version actually gives you a better pound per mile figure. My data predicts this car will do more than 218 miles on a charge in the real world. But because it costs more than £83,500, each mile will set you back £383. Volvo has recently launched an electric version of the XC40 SUV. Now, my calculations predict that it will do more than 178 miles on a charge, but it is quite expensive. It'll cost you almost £60,000. That's after taking into account government grants and any discounts through CarWow. It's quite a lot for an XC40. This means that each mile of range costs you £336. Fancy an electric convertible, but you can't wait for the new Tesla Roadster? How about a smart EQ ForTwo Cabrio? Not really very similar, to be fair, but it is much cheaper. You can get one for less than £20,000 through CarWow. The thing is, it's only likely to do around 64 miles on a charge in the real world. So each mile ends up costing you more than £298, which is quite a lot. Not many cars can carry 7 people and do 0 to 60 miles an hour faster than most sports cars, but the Tesla Model X can. And I reckon the long range version will do at least 298 miles on a charge, according to my calculations. Trouble is, its £88,000 price tag means it will cost you more than £294 per mile of range. So it doesn't do so well on this list. Audi's first purpose-built electric car is the e-tron SUV, and I reckon its real-world range is around 214 miles. And you can get an e-tron for around £63,000 through CarWow. And when you do the maths with those numbers, you'll find that each mile of range with the e-tron costs you £293. So slightly better than a Model X, but still pretty expensive. The EQC is Mercedes' alternative to the e-tron. It costs about the same. You can also get one for around £63,000 through CarWow, but it'll eke out a few more miles than the Audi. Based on my calculations, it should do around 290 miles between charges, which means each mile of range costs you around £288. The Nissan E NV200 is an electric van, which also comes as a practical MPV. You can get one through CarWow for less than £29,000, and when you factor in its predicted 107 mile range, it means you're paying around £267 per mile of range. In real world driving conditions, you're likely to get around 250 miles of range out of a Jaguar I-Pace. The car isn't cheap though. Even with the latest CarWow deals, you'll be looking at more than £61,000 for one. And this means that you're paying £244 for each mile of range with the I-Pace. I love the look of the new Honda E, but I don't love the fact that its real world range isn't great. I predict it to be around 118 miles, which is quite a bit less than most electric cars, even the smaller ones. And when you consider the fact that it costs more than £26,500, you're paying more than £225 per mile of range for that little car. The Tesla Model S is usually the king of the hill when it comes to range, and my data shows that the Long Range Plus model should do around 348 miles on a single charge, which is more than any other car on my list, but its hefty price tag does let it down. It costs almost £75,000, so that means it works out that you're paying £215 per mile of range. Based on my real world range predictions, I reckon the smart EQ ForFour will only manage around 68 miles on a single charge, which is pretty bad, but at least it's quite cheap. You can actually pick one up for less than £14,500 through CarWow, which means each mile of range actually sets you back just over £213. You get a slightly better deal if you go for the 2-seat smart EQ ForTwo instead. I reckon this will manage around 70 miles of range on a single charge. And if you buy one through CarWow with all the discounts and everything, it'll cost you a few £100 less than the EQ ForFour, so about £14,300. All this means that you're paying around £204 per mile of electric range. You could easily mistake the Mini Electric for a regular Mini, but it's very different underneath the skin because it's an electric car. And I predict on average you'll get around 125 miles of range out of one in the real world. So if you buy one through Carwow and factor in all the discounts and everything, you end up with a price of £25,100. That means that each mile of range you're buying with the Mini Electric will work out to £201. Unlike the Mini, the BMW i3 looks nothing like a normal car. I predict its real world range is around 150 miles, which is better than the Minis, but then again, it is a bit more expensive. Now you can get one through Carwow for a little over £30,000, and when you work out the pound per mile figure for its range, it works out exactly the same as the Mini on £201 per mile. But the average Carwow saving on an i3 is almost double what you can save on a Mini Electric. You can actually save £6,000 at the moment off an i3. And if you want to see how much money you can save on a new car, I'll put a little link popping out in the top right hand corner of the screen. Click on that, you can go to Carwow and check out all the latest car deals. Alternatively, just after this video, Google "Help Me Carwow" and my team and I will help you choose the right car for you and get it for a fair price from one of our trusted Carwow dealers. Polestar used to tune Volvos, but now they're making their own cars, including the all-electric Polestar 2. Now, based on my calculations, this SUV/hatchback will do around 250 miles on a single charge in real-world driving conditions. But it is quite expensive. It'll cost you more than £47,000, which means that each mile of range will set you back £187. The Hyundai Ioniq comes as a hybrid, a plug-in hybrid, or a pure EV. And you can get an electric version for less than £28,000 through Carwow with all our discounts. And when you do the maths, it works out that you're effectively paying £169 per mile of electric range. You can get a DS3 Crossback with either a petrol engine or an electric motor. And I reckon the EV version will average around 177 miles on a single charge. Also, you can get one for less than £29,000 through Carwow, so that means each mile of range costs you just over £162. The Peugeot E2008 is one of the most stylish electric SUVs on sale, and I reckon it'll do around 177 miles on a single charge, which is exactly the same as the DS3 Crossback. But the Peugeot's a bit cheaper. You can buy one for less than £28,500 through Carwow, and so when you do the maths, it means that each mile of electric range with the Peugeot costs less than £161. The Tesla Model 3 is the best performing Tesla on the list. I reckon the long range version can do almost 310 miles on a single charge in real world driving conditions. And you can buy one for less than £47,000. All this means that each mile of range that you're buying with this Tesla costs you less than £152. You can pick up a new Nissan Leaf for a little over £31,000 through Carwow, and based on my calculations, on average a Nissan Leaf should manage around 205 miles on a single charge. And all this means that each mile of range that you're paying for with a Nissan Leaf will work out to £152. Actually, when you do the maths, it's 18 pence less than the Tesla, and that's why the Leaf goes ahead in this list. There are plenty of small SUVs on sale, but the MG ZS is one of the cheapest EVs. It's available through Carwow for less than £19,500. This means that each mile of its 140 mile expected range will set you back £139, which is a bit of a bargain really. The Kia e-Niro has a really impressive range for a small electric SUV. Based on my predictions, on average a Kia Niro will do around 242 miles on a single charge. And you can buy one through Carwow for less than £33,500. So when you do the maths, you're only paying around £138 per mile of range with the e-Niro. It's good. The Corsa-e is Vauxhall's first ever electric car, and you can buy one through Carwow for less than £24,500. And that means that while I predict on average a Corsa-e will do 180 miles on a single charge, the real world range will cost you just over £136. The Kia Soul EV is a funky looking SUV that you can get for less than £33,000 when you buy it through Carwow. Now based on my calculations, I reckon it will do around 240 miles on a single charge, which means that each mile of range costs you less than £136. The MG5 is the cheapest electric car you can buy, and you can get one for less than £25,000 through Carwow, but I predict it will still manage more than 183 miles of range in the real world, so you're effectively paying £134 per mile of range. The Hyundai Kona Electric is the highest ranking SUV on my list. Now, based on my calculations, I reckon on average they'll do around 257 miles on a single charge. And because you can get the car for less than £34,000 if you buy one through Carwow, it means that you're only paying £132 per mile of electric range. The Peugeot E208 is one of the most stylish electric cars on sale, but it's more than just a pretty face. I reckon on average they'll do around 186 miles between charges in the real world, and if you buy one through CarWow you can get them for less than £24,500. All of this means that you're paying £131 per mile of range with the E208. The ID3 is Volkswagen's first ever electric car, but it's good enough for second place on this list. Based on my calculations of using my adjustment for real world range against the manufacturer's claim figures, I reckon on average the ID3 will give out about 227 miles of range in real world driving conditions. Now you can buy a pro performance version of the ID3 for just £28,000 through CarWow, and that means the price per mile of range works out to less than £124. Now we come to the big one, the electric car that gives you the most range for your money, and that is the Renault Zoe. Now I predict this cheap little hatchback will on average give you around 210 miles of real world range according to my data, and you can buy one for a little over £22,300 through CarWow. All this means that you're paying less than £106 per mile of range, and that makes it the best electric car by pound per mile, by some margin. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like. Now, if you click on that window there, you can watch me drag race some cars. And if you click on that window down there, you can watch me drag race some other cars. And if you click on that box there, you can sign up to the CarWow newsletter. And what we'll do, we'll keep you up to date with all the latest car news and reviews in between these video uploads. It's completely free and you can unsubscribe at any time. Thanks for watching.